Yeah, we suck right now. The culture is actually like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from the pick sixes.
As the new NFL season officially begins with the start of free agency, there are unfortunately some things we must go over. New rules. As with most things the league has done, it's allegedly meant to improve the game, but some of them have led to more controversy than not. One of these changes that totally won't cause this is the banning of the hip drop tackle. Any infraction called by officials will now be 15 yards and an automatic first down. Another judgment call penalty and a league plagued by them. Oh, wonderful. The replay booth can now review instances of roughing the passer and intentional grounding. But knowing how well the pass interference reviews went, my hopes aren't high. What could be ironically useful are the new kickoff rules. They had to do something about them. The kickoff had been relegated to nothing but touchbacks for the most part. If you watch the XFL this past year, there'll be a slightly modified version of them. The kicker kicks off at his 35-yard line, and the kickoff special teams line up at the opposing 40. All but two players on the return team line up at the 35-yard line, not to move until the ball is received by a returner. The goal for the kicking team is to hit it in the landing zone, between the 20 and the goal line. If the ball lands or goes out of the end zone for a touchback, the ball is spotted at the 30-yard line. If it goes out of bounds, it's spotted at the 40 like it was before. Onside kicks also must be declared, thus eliminating surprise onside kicks. We'll definitely be complaining about these things in the future, but their newest gift to us comes with 2 games on Christmas. Wednesday football is back after a 4-year hiatus. The NBA is seething in the corner. Welcome back to Relevance, Detroit. It's been a while. Never thought they'd get here, but when you undertake a deep overhaul like they did, sometimes this result happens. The fixes are needed on defense. Aaron Glenn's unit was pretty porous if we're being honest. It must be bolstered. Carlton Davis from Tampa Bay acquired to aid their secondary woes. Marcus Davenport brought in for a 1-year deal. The intriguing acquisition to me is DJ Reader. It's a damn good signing on the cheap, unfortunately due to a severe injury suffered last year. When he's at his peak, he's a shit wrecker. If he can get back there, this will be huge. Same as a Graham Glasgow extension for 3 years. I would say it's been an uneventful offseason of sorts, but Cameron Sutton decided to play GTA IRL and get his wanted level up to 3 stars. Oh, fuck.
The Detroit Lions select Terrion Arnold, defensive back, Alabama.
This one makes way too much sense. Another position of serious need falls right into the lap of the Lions, especially after Cam Sutton decided to play GTA IRL. Detroit's secondary was pretty dire last season, so it's a good story for a man who feels he's right at home. He'll probably join Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell there. They just got extended long-term. It's so weird that players are eager to play for Detroit nowadays. It's a strange feeling. I need some time to adjust. Behold the Dan Campbell paradox. His ballsiness is the main reason why the Lions have emerged from perennial locale franchise to a potential perennial contender. That same aggression also cost them against the 49ers. If he can evolve to control that chaos, then Detroit will be in very good hands. This is easily the best Lions squad in terms of talent in decades. And to think it happened with Jared Goff, the supposed stopgap. He's returned to his Rams peak and has been rewarded with another handsome extension. A bunch of their young core pieces got one. Now they just need to squeeze a bit more to really get that engine running. Jameson Williams realized his upside as an elite receiver by actually playing games? Will Aaron Glenn manage to run a defense that doesn't give up yards en masse? Will they finally be able to stave off the Packer menace? Becoming relevant is hard. Getting to the top is even harder. Detroit's gonna learn this lesson the hard way. Whether or not they reach the apex, that's for fate to decide. As you can tell, things are a bit less linear than in the past. New suitors are eager to stake the claim from the usual suspects. And the ones at the top will only relinquish such honor from their cold, lifeless hands. I think this year is a little of both. The NFC East has always been a conference that changes hands every year, so the Eagles will reclaim it for themselves. As for the NFC North, different story. I say Detroit reclaims it, but a few teams are hot on their tail. The NFC South, the conference we wish could be a race, goes to Atlanta simply by no Arthur Smith. And the NFC West, barring horrific injury, will be San Francisco's to lose yet again. Wild cards are a much trickier guess. Yet I believe that Green Bay, Dallas, and Chicago take them. There are more than a few teams that I consider for these 3 spots, so I'm not dismissing them at all. But the NFC's just weird like that. It'll probably be wonkier than I expect. A grudge match of Wildcard Weekend. Excitement fills the air in the Motor City. Hope springing anew after their first deep playoff run since HW was in office. Aaron Donald only terrorizing the comforts of retirement. If the Lions may have won round 1, but the Rams are still a formidable foe. All you need to do is witness this fine Sunday night contest. We have ourselves a nice fight over here. A quality match between 2 equal competitors that neither team wants to crater in. Blows traded in tremendous spirit as we all watch in delight of quality. Jameson Williams might be breaking out for once. And I think we're getting prime Cooper Kupp this year. Also prime Matthew Stafford. Yet Detroit has power. Jared Goff may have thrown a brutal interception, but the Dan Campbell way is to say, fuck it, we're finishing this. Detroit's down by 3 late and they need to buckle down. They're not just gonna push down the field, they'll ram it through their esophagus. Not down, through. It's that serious. They'll settle for a field goal to tie, but punishments need to be reinforced with overtime. The Lions are just gonna punch them up the gut. Over and over and over again. All the way down the field to win the game. The Rams couldn't survive the onslaught despite their strong performance. It's a pity someone had to lose. Detroit was too stubborn for it to be that. Detroit's just running through grudge matches so far. Is this title defense mode or something? Like the Rams, the Bucs are a formidable foe that will match wits with them at every turn. Baker only desires revenge. Not just for last January, but for all the slights. He, along with a healthy dose of Chris Godwin, will guide Tampa to their guiding light. Detroit's counterattack is Aiden Hutchinson. That's all they really need. Hutchinson's wreaking havoc with 5 sacks, pretty much the main reason why the Lions are still in this game. He's proving himself among the elite of the league. You only wish that for the man under center in the Motor City. Jared. Sir, why the fuck are you throwing this ball? There isn't a receiver within 10 yards and the closest one isn't even paying attention. Don't go back to 2021 Rams form, I beg of you. It forces Detroit to try yet again. And the Bucs defense bends and bends but refuses to break. They force a turnover on downs in the red zone. Even as Dan Campbell's smart timeout management gives his team another chance, Tampa Bay holds firm and refuses to let go. Perhaps we were overestimating the easiness of last year's schedule. A most impressive win by them. Detroit isn't exactly a slouch and they brought them to heel. Well done. There will be greater challenges ahead, but a 2-0 start is always welcome in this gauntlet. Look at this matchup and see 2 of the sexiest options in the young football season. Detroit sheer balls against Arizona's slippery exterior. Who wins out in the end? The one we expected to at the start of the year. This should be no shame to Arizona, but throughout these 60 minutes, the Lions were the better team. That can't be denied. In terms of their offensive firepower and ability to limit Kyler's effectiveness for long stretches, the Cardinals were just outmatched. That won't do it. Detroit's lateral hooks before the end of the first half will put this out of reach. Even then, despite the Motor City's win, they still look iffy as hell in more than a few aspects. Their offense stalled out repeatedly in the second half. Arizona had them in a bind. Jared Goff suddenly can't stop throwing picks, and the aggression of Dan Campbell's 4th down approach isn't paying off like it used to. It won't be scrutinized heavily since the Lions defense did the same in kind to Kyler and the Cards, but it's something to consider in later dates. Detroit hasn't been dominant, just dancing through the raindrops. Hopefully they'll get back to past form. A 2-1 start's at least a good one. I can see why the NFL wants to have 2 Monday night games. If one game ends up being unwatchable slop like the previous affair, there's another chance to roll the dice. The league can't lose eyeballs, so they apparently transferred all of today's offense here. What we got was a fantastic air show, showcasing the talents of 2 franchises eager to rise to the NFC elite. It's going to be a battle of who has the most firepower. And unfortunately for the Seahawks, they don't seem to have enough of it. Remember my criticisms and concerns about Detroit's offense last week? The Lions must have heard them and told me to eat all of the shit. I think it's been finally revealed to its full potential. With might and strength, the Motor City roared throughout the 100-yard field in ways we more than expected. Jared Goff was perfection. Absolute perfection. I'm not even being facetious, he didn't miss a single pass tonight. He even flaunted his receiving prowess with a Philly special. Seamless execution, the Seahawks defense had no chance. A 3-0 team, albeit with a soft early schedule, was laid to heal. The Lions made an example of them by not making mistakes. Seattle had an early fumble and a failed red zone drive resulting in a turnover on downs. That's all it took. The Seahawks were good, but Detroit was flawless. Can't outgun that, sadly. The Lions should have generated more game balls. How did Goff not get one for his performance? Every time the NFL tried to post this game on YouTube, it got instantly blocked. This is adult content. Spank bank material for the entirety of the NFL world. Jerry Jones received a fantastic 82nd birthday gift in the form of being repeatedly punched in the balls. From an unbeaten streak at home to Dallas's worst home loss in 35 years. Detroit wanted to prove that the Cowboys were frauds. Did so in at least 50 different ways. Ref ball fucked them last year. So Dan Skipper will be reported as eligible on the first play of the game and many plays after that. Ritual humiliation and sacrifice throughout the day in defiance of Jerry's shrine. The Lions not only proved themselves superior, they imprinted their taint on every Cowboys player and fan in attendance. Total defeat for Dallas. Yet Jerry loves his yes men, so Mike McCarthy will stay in the back playing electric football. America didn't just win, it was a day-long celebration. January has come early. Yet even for this massacre, this feels like a terrible loss for Detroit as well. Monkey's Paw granted their wish for a win in the style of Pyrrhus. Aiden Hutchinson. Compound leg fracture. Season over. A horrific loss, not just for injury, but for the talent taken away from us as fans. Not only devastating the Lions for the season, but might cost them a Super Bowl run as well. He was their best defensive weapon, and now he's gone until next year at best. They humiliated Dallas in revenge, but at what cost? The toll extracted may have been far too great. The NFC North has become a heavyweight division. Powerhouses everywhere you look with substance and flair abound. Detroit is eager to maintain their title. The Vikings wish to maintain supremacy. In the age of juggernauts, only one can stand tall. Minnesota takes a double-digit lead first, but we all know that's fleeting. Detroit's offense has found another gear. And Brian Flores can try to blitz the hell out of Jared Goff, but it isn't working. He's as efficient as ever. And him and Jameer drive the Motor City out to a sizable double-digit lead at half. An 11-point lead in the middle of the third quarter after yet another elite offensive drive. Detroit seemed to be cruising to an easy win. Then came the stalling offense. Then came the field goals. And then came the fumble. Ivan paces himself to the end zone for skull chants erupting from every corner of the globe to take the lead. To go up by 3 would be ideal, but the 2-point conversion is quashed. Battles will continue on, however, in the endless grind. Minnesota has a chance to bury their rival in one swoop. They fail. Despite one of the sloppier games the Lions have played in a recent age, they still have a chance. They're driving down the field with time winding down. A win is within reach. Detroit, look to the UFL and find your true prize.
For the lead, Bates has delivered! Detroit is on top with 15 seconds left.
Jake Bates was selling bricks 10 months ago. Now he's emerging as a mainstay in the NFL. With his leg, the Lions reassert themselves as kings of the North. Not anywhere what we call pretty, but what's done is done. Sheer balls and fortitude. The Dan Campbell way. Minnesota should feel no shame, but the dream of an undefeated season is over. Dust yourselves off and you'll be fine. You're not going to revert to classic Vikings, right? Speaking of the Honolulu flu, the benefits to the Lions are without compare. Tennessee season was on life support long before this moment. This game may have been a needed mercy killing. Here's a riddle for you curious folk. How does a team get annihilated on the stat sheet yet annihilate their opponents? Detroit has their eyes on the real prize. An easy win in the most hilarious way possible. The Titans outgained the Lions by almost 200 yards on offense, but apparently forgot that you need to stop them on special teams. Detroit had over 260 yards on returns. Returns! Jared Goff had a masterclass of a game and only threw for 85 fucking yards. 9 net passing yards in the first half, yet scoring 5 TDs. Their only counterattack was 4 passes at the goddamn 1-yard line before half. Oh, Titans, you are mega fucked. Just burn everything to the ground and start again. This team ain't it. Detroit didn't even have to try hard. They were toying with you like a bored cat does a mouse. Probably the easiest of the Lions we'll have all year. A circus with Titans being the cannon fodder. Where's the fat lady? Even she wants nothing to do with this dreck. Before the game, Amon-Ra St. Brown walked into Lambeau with a shirt that said Green Bay sucks. He wasn't just trolling. He was being prophetic. In the first game outside a dome this year, Detroit felt right at home, terrorizing anything resembling resistance while grinding them into a limited edition cheese. Afterwards, sprinkling their shredded remains on a nice 5-course Italian dinner with Packers fan wine to wash it all down. Lions are good at not only bullying their opponents, but completely embarrassing them in all facets. They just let the Packers do it to themselves for most of the game. The Motor City lays out some obvious traps, and bam, dipshit brother gets stuffed into a locker. And their hunger will never satiate. Nor will Jordan Love's ill-advised transformation into the new age Brett Favre. All the way down to the hero ball and god-awful turnovers. Detroit merely had to bring out some Adirondack chairs and soak up all the misery like the rain pelting the field. Absolute destruction. The Packers can say it was self-inflicted wounds, but this was a lot more than that. Their opposition's built to make teams do this shit. Back to second tier, Green Bay. The real teams are taking center stage. Still weird to say that about Detroit. So it appears that the Texans took my advice to heart last week. Houston's pushing the envelope hard against one of the best teams in football. The one that humiliates others is tasting their own medicine. This is a completely different group than the one against the Jets. Jared Goff has returned at the worst time. He's tried so hard to repress this form, and his schizophrenic passing gifts picks up plenty. He's about to rival Ty Detmer for most interceptions in a Lions game. Good Lord. This is turning into a laugher, and it'll continue to be so. For Detroit, Houston cucks themselves at every turn after half. I know you want us to win, Lions, but please take the ball. I absolutely insist you do. For fuck's sake, Texans. Bobby Slowick went from a media darling and offensive wunderkind to a guy who doesn't adjust his wiper blades during a downpour. It's back to the same old shit. Second half Stroud really is a thing. The third quarter Texans are a joke. And the fourth quarter isn't much better. Jesus Christ, they've dominated the turnover game and they're only up by 3? Limp-dick defensive drives are only going to exhaust the defense. And that's what they end up doing. Another Lions push into field goal range and the game is tied. For fuck's sake, Texans, you have the chance to do something. They fuck it up on a third down, but Fairbairn's money, even from 58 yards out. Kaimi missed. Are you fucking kidding me, Houston? I don't care if the refs missed a penalty. You had countless chances to bury the Lions and you refused to do so. Now they're in field goal range and about to win.
52 for the win. It is just good. Just inside the upright. Jake Bates, hometown hero.
What the fuck? Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions. The Texans had 23 first half points and Detroit looked lost, yet they win. Even Jake Bates was saying it felt scripted. I was about to say that Houston was getting out of fraudulence and they revealed themselves as 5-alarm imposters. Detroit is gritty and tenacious. And the Motor City smells weakness when they're about to pounce. The sweat's the giveaway. They know the tell. They were molded by failure. Houston's a mere novice in this art. They need to suffer a frustrating year or 60 before they can master it. Mr. Peterson, here's a situation that even your incompetent ass can figure out. You lose this next game, clear out your damn office. No one cares that you're facing a juggernaut without the only guy who can run your offense. You will win or you will suffer the consequences. Little did Doug know that the Jags players were listening in on the call. In solidarity with their impending death, they quiet quit in ways that would make Gen Z envious. If you ever played Oblivion, remember the Grey Prince arc? The Jags realized their fathers were clowns. They proceeded to let their opponent kill them without a fight. They've lost the will to live, and the Lions showed no mercy. Good Lord, did Detroit feast on a long dead carcass. They ripped Duval apart limb from limb, a bloodlust rivaling Aztec sacrifice rituals. The roar of the crowd as they set franchise records for net yards, first downs, margin of win, and a scoregami. 9-1 for the first time since the Great Depression. The largest disparity in yardage since the Carter administration. This is devastation rivaling Dan Marino's final game. Firing Dougie P, they're gonna leave him and his staff at a fucking Greyhound station. Indianapolis Colts are the definition of football hell. Ever since Andrew Luck was vanquished by the injury gods, it's been repeated frustrations hampering them for what they believe is their full potential. It's not getting any easier against the likes of the Lions. They have a humiliation fetish. Not for themselves, but for their adversaries. The same thing's gonna happen to you. Anthony Richardson will experience the full gamut. Sub 50% completion rate with high yards per attempt, strong running performance with his power rushing, countless passes undone by drops and penalties, especially in crucial moments. Oh yeah, this is the standard AR5 kind of game. But even if he was perfect, this outcome wasn't changing. Detroit isn't interested in such parlays. They only care for crushing those in their path. Unfortunately for Indy, they're just another statistic. The epitome of agony. If only they didn't get swept by the Texans. If only they didn't have defensive injuries. If only they didn't have a QB debacle. Maybe they take the division this year. The Lions care not for such metaphoricals. They have an NFC to claim. Detroit is 10-1 and bows to no one anymore. They are no longer in awe and envy of the elite. They are the juggernaut. Indy will be brought to heel like many before them. It is written in stone. So how does Chicago one-up the misery index after weeks of unearthing new torture techniques on their fan base? A terrible first half sounds about right. Detroit gives such little fucks that they're running pass plays by Panay Sewell. The fans are cheering a sack. The Lions are straight up trolling them. There's nothing they can do about it. Most of the first half, Chicago had fewer yards gained on offense than the Lions had first downs. This should honestly be outright slaughter, but Detroit's getting insanely arrogant and not going for the kill. Not to mention Sonic losing all his rings near the Bears' end zone to keep them only leading by 16 at half. You get a recipe for disaster. Chicago finally got their shit together at halftime. Probably from Eberflus being locked in a broom closet. Caleb and the offense are flying high. And there's one significant reason for it. The Lions are running out of defenders. Not even being facetious, their injuries being shredded by injury left and right. And that's partly why Chicago's coming back into the fray. Thanks to repeated stalling by Detroit on offense and the first missed field goal of Jake Bates' career, the Bears are only down by 3. The pendulum swung hard, emphasized by a Lions 3 and out. Chicago's being propped up and handed a golden chance yet again. A final drive with a chance to not only save the game, but people's jobs. Driving down thanks to Caleb and a bit of ref ball, as is tradition. They're now in striking distance. Too bad Flus freed himself from the closet. In standard Bears fashion, they imitate modern Twitter and nobody's blocked. A brutal sack to kick them out of field goal range with a little over 30 seconds left. But they do have a timeout to play with. Any competent mind could work with this. You know, you can do something, Chicago. Do we need to phone a friend or poll the audience? Seriously, what the fuck are you doing? Call your timeout. Run a play. Organize your men. What is your major malfunction, you asswipes?
Oh, this is disaster in the making here. You're going to have to do something when it comes down to this play. Incomplete, and the game is over.
I feel like I lost 20 IQ points by watching that segment. Did the Bears collectively suffer a mini-stroke at that moment? Don't you have 2 minute drills to prepare for this? That was absolutely retarded. I know you're not supposed to say that in 2024, but there's no other word to properly describe it. Running a halfback dive would have been a better option. Give yourself a fucking chance. A 6-year-old playing fucking Madden would have better game sense. Your team needs a leader and Caleb's pissing down his leg, Matt. You're the head coach. Call your goddamn timeout. What was your adjustment there? An ice pick severing the prefrontal cortex? I have nothing. I legitimately have nothing. The NFL's bullshit is finally broken. Every yokel sitting in that stadium 6 beers in knew what to do. How the hell did Flus not? It's one thing to completely botch the football equivalent of pin the tail on the donkey. But it's another entirely to fuck up an easy situation and actively defend it after the fact. How the hell did you handle it the right way? Were you juggling Fabergé eggs on the sideline when this was happening? All of Chicago wants this guy publicly executed by firing squad, but I feel bad for the Bullets. You didn't just gift Detroit a 10-1 record when they were doing their best to flop. You ended the Detroit Thanksgiving memes in one fell swoop. Don't worry, folks. Eberflus is saving that timeout for when he's on the unemployment line. This has to get that guy fired, right? It's that time of the year again. When the playoffs start to peek into the picture and we discuss the scenarios at hand. The NFC's a bit tighter. The Motor City currently leads the pack, but Philly's hot on their tail. The division ranks are pretty safe otherwise. Seattle and Atlanta hold claim to some very weak conferences this year. That means Minnesota and Green Bay have the potential to feast if the cards fall right for them. Washington got off a cold streak and comfortably hold the final seed in the meantime. At 6-6, the Bucks, Cardinals, and Rams still have a shot, especially in their divisions. Meanwhile, San Francisco, Dallas, and New Orleans are clinging on for dear life. And I mean it. There's been a lot of disappointment for teams this season, but there's still a chance they remembered the rules.
Don't get eliminated!
Amazing what can happen on Thursday night when teams are allowed a full week of rest. Almost as if it makes for some good football. Offensive might and defense is breaking down due to injuries on both sides. The Lions are down to past prime Quan Alexander and Jamal Adams. The statement's absolutely justified. The result is a seesaw. Team goes up, team goes down. Team goes round and back downtown. Both groups trading blows in the art of war. With the occasional Jared Goff pick and quick touchdown drive to overcome a 10-point deficit. Oh, come on, we know Detroit's not into this whole losing thing. What'd you expect to happen? If you didn't guess another touchdown drive, then you're the fool. Tim Patrick scoring touchdowns in 2024. Let's fucking go. Now the Lions should be pulling away with this one, but the old vice rears its ugly head. I know Dan's the epitome of aggressive on fourth down, but going for it on your own 30? A high-risk, low-reward play and you're running a halfback toss? Worst-case scenario did indeed happen. A quick touchdown for Green Bay. But Detroit's pretty good at resilience. More throws crushing the Packers' defense. More yards being eaten away. More touchdowns to Tim Patrick. With Detroit up by 3 late, the situation is perilous. The Packers know they need a touchdown to keep up with the Lions' attack. Marching down against a better defense will keep being so with a goal line push and touchdown. Scratch that offensive pass interference. The only result from this point forward is failure. They have to settle for a field goal. Detroit ain't giving that ball back, boys. Everyone knows this. Pushing right into field goal range with no sweat at all. Oh no, there's a 4th and 1 with less than a minute left. Look, if Dan Campbell's gonna go for it on his own 30, he'll certainly go for the kill here. I'd have done the same damn thing. His defense is full of car salesmen and insurance agents at this point. They weren't making another stop. Now cue Jake Bates.
Ball game. And what a game.
Green Bay has once again been humbled in the face of fire. You love to see it. Campbell's relentless aggression might burn him again in the future, but he don't give a shit. The playoffs await, and the number 1 seed lies in the balance. 1 month left. Get your tickets to the postseason ready now or be left out in the cold. We know the drill by now. The NFC's road is still undecided. Detroit stays ahead with a crucial win over Green Bay, but Philly and Minnesota are still hot on their tail. Thanks to Atlanta's catastrophic implosion, Tampa Bay has reasserted itself for the NFC South lead. The Seahawks still remain on top of the NFC West, but things could be getting shaky there with a loss on Thursday. A bye week for Washington maintains their 7th seed, yet rivals remain. The Rams and Niners want in. There's a chance the Falcons could get their shit together. Arizona could make miracles happen. Probably not, but you aren't out of the dance until you hear the dreaded words told to a few teams already. You know them by heart.
Don't get eliminated!
Somehow I wonder if this was more or less a free win for the Bills. Heavyweight bout? Yeah, maybe 40-year-old Muhammad Ali. The Lions are a hollow shell of what they were for most of the season. Anyone who follows them knows why. Detroit has nothing left on defense. They're at the point of buying out an entire crematorium for the amount of dead. 3 more players on that end out for the season, and it keeps piling up. 16 defenders on IR. They're close to calling up McDonald's workers and guys from the Ford plant for bodies. Jared Goff and the Detroit offense can dominate what's supposed to resemble a defense, but it means nothing when you have literal blocking sleds that are supposed to allegedly defend. It's a Sisyphean agony that only results in the football teleporting to your end zone without fail. Everyone's sitting here wondering why Dan Campbell kicked an onside kick early in the 4th quarter down by 10. Why sit there and watch your defense give up a long drive when you can watch them give up a short drive? It's a simple proposition. Josh Allen can kill them quick or even quicker. These past few weeks he's putting up cheat code numbers not seen since the Game Genie, making his case for MVP by shredding the poor fools in front of him without resistance. Buffalo has serious concerns mostly about that defense, but they'll be a threat with Allen playing like this. The only threat the Lions have at this point is competing for the Injury Bowl. They also lost David Montgomery for the year. No more Sonic and Knuckles for you guys. Eggman stole the Master Emerald. 3 games remain. This week was critical in deciphering the playoff formulas, but it doesn't mean that we're anywhere close to a solution. The number 1 seed in the NFC is now a 3-way tie. The Lions still have control, but the Eagles and Vikings are hot on their tail and coming fast. Philly can also claim the NFC East with a win or Washington loss, but the Eagles aren't going to implode, right? The NFC North is a mosh pit, made even more so by the attrition on Detroit. Minnesota or Green Bay could easily take it, but the NFC South is Tampa's to lose. Hopefully they won't choke it away like Atlanta did. The NFC West is between Seattle and the Rams, with the Cards and Niners on life support. This division probably gets settled with a Week 18 showdown. The wild cards are all but set and can be officially claimed if Green Bay wins and Washington wins and gets help. The NFC especially is going to be a ride moving forward. Get ready. These words are going to come in handy.
Don't get eliminated!
Detroit may be reeling from injuries throughout the roster, but they don't need to worry here. It's the Bears. They're mumbling in the corner, drooling on themselves, spinning in circles. And even then, that might be putting it nicely. When Goff and his army show no mercy to the poor fools conscripted to defend it, there will only be valiant boasting and taunting from the Motor City. They were straight up trolling these fuckers all game long. Giving so few fucks, they faked botching a handoff with the running back tripping and delivered a strike to Sam Laporta. And that's how seriously you should take the Bears. As respectable as a dead galley slave. With the offense humming like a bird, this one was as easy as slicing pie. Maybe Aaron Glenn was right. There isn't much to fear here. The real test comes in a few weeks, though. Prepare yourselves accordingly. The time has come to crunch. We're nearing the finish line. And there's still plenty of positions at the round table to play for. The NFC East is still in play after Philly's shocking upset at the hands of commies, but they aren't gonna blow this, right? But the NFC North and number 1 seed are intertwined. Lions and Vikings battling it out in the Great War of Life. Take a guess who plays one another in Week 18. This is where both are probably gonna be decided. A curveball's been thrown into the NFC South. Tampa's loss and Atlanta's win make it all but a coin flip. But the Falcons have tiebreakers, so the Bucs are gonna need help. LA now has firm control over the NFC West, especially since they have tiebreaker. They're gonna need to lose twice and the Seahawks win twice for Seattle to make it. They do play in Week 18 though. Washington's pretty much got the last NFC wildcard spot, so the options are dwindling. Don't be left out in the cold, NFL world, lest you suffer the greatest humiliation.
Don't get eliminated!
Back in September, we were highlighting this matchup as a pivotal moment for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Well, it is for one team. The other spiraled into a pit of despair that they're unable to break out of. The 49ers experienced the same woes that afflicted them all year. Every Fred Warner speech in the world can't stop the Lions' relentless attack. Don't worry, the Niners' offense is also going to do well against Detroit's Plan C defense. It was a spectacular air show rivaling the Thunderbirds. Over 900 yards and 10 TDs combined. Tie up the punters and leave them in the storage unit. They will not be needed tonight. It's a neck-and-neck battle thanks to both defenses being unable to stop a tumbleweed. And the only deciding factor will be who makes brutal mistakes. No shock to us all that San Fran was the culprit. Kirby Joseph swooping in like a hawk and swiping interceptions away left and right. And with a chance to tie, the Moody Blues croon in the night once again. Seriously, they spent a 3rd-round pick on this bum? Have another pick by Joseph to seal the deal. The Lions ready themselves for Week 18 and the spoils that await. At the end of the day, did we really learn anything? No. Both teams have the same narratives as before, but it was fun football to watch. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. The Niners were no match for the Lions, and it epitomized their season. Injuries have wrecked them, and it's bought Lynch and Shanahan a year to try and clean up the mess. If only it were that easy to do. This week settled a lot of questions, particularly with seeding in the AFC. The contestants have dwindled to a few, but there are a couple of spots up for grabs. On the other side, the NFC number 1 seed and the NFC North are tied up in a Week 18 contest. Vikings against Lions. Winner take all. Loser doomed to a wildcard spot. All or nothing, the best way to go. Meanwhile, the NFC South has been all but assured for Tampa Bay after last week's revelations. However, it's not fully secure. A loss to the Saints combined with a Falcons win gives it to Atlanta. Oh, what a time it is to be a fan. The stakes are higher than ever. And there are 3 words that echo throughout time and space.
Don't get eliminated!
last war zone to visit. And it's the most important one of the week. The NFC North and the number 1 seed all in the balance. Winner is able to get much needed rest and recuperation. The loser has to take a trip to LA as a wild card. A bunch of Viking season ticket holders took the trip east as expert trolling. That's the only win they can boast about. When they needed him at his best, Sam Darnold saw ghosts. Easily his worst performance with the Vikes. Just missing targets and overthrowing every critical pass imaginable. It was like he was back with the Jets. Sam, you had your opportunity to maintain the starting role next year and you were stuffed by a defense full of insurance agents. Detroit's been decimated on that front and they're still dominating people. Jesus Christ! The Lions were far from perfect. Jared Goff was doing a good bit in his power to hand the game away. But the Motor City's just too strong and have too much aura to falter in the big situation. Jahmyr Gibbs is just gonna pummel these fools. It's nowhere close. Stop the damn match. Detroit's proven far superior to a team's clock striking midnight. Kings of the North and home field in the playoffs. Well done, boys. I just hope all the injuries you've suffered don't cost you a true chance in Lombardi. The final stage is set. 14 teams remain and are ready to duel to the death. Only one shall remain. And the defending back-to-back contender receives a first-round bye to recharge their mana points for more bullshit. Gunning for revenge, Buffalo has a shot, but will have to take care of business against Denver first. The Ravens receive another showing of AFC North football. The rivalry with the Steelers will add another chapter after Pittsburgh's near-traditional collapse. Liquid LA usurps the 5th seed at the last moment and will travel to Houston to face an ailing fraud squad. In the NFC, the Lions stand tall, despite missing several limbs and vital organs. Coming in second, Philadelphia controls it and faces a team that's upended such a foe last season. Be careful with Green Bay. I'd also be careful if I were the commies. Tampa Bay's been playing with fire, and in their home stadium, it could be a nightmare. Meanwhile, Minnesota's forced to head to LA for a master versus apprentice showdown. Things are hopefully going to get spicy. Detroit has answered a question long pondered by football scholars. Can you claim a number 1 seed with a defense full of personal trainers and insurance salesmen? Have you seen the sheer volume of injured players on that side of the ball? They could have fielded an entire unit off the IR alone at some points. Yet the Motor City cannot be stopped. That offense shits on anything that's supposed to resemble an opposition. Jahmyr Gibbs taking the world by the balls and Jared Goff following him in tandem. And he's not throwing random interceptions. Even not at full strength, they're a powerhouse. And you should tremble. Miracles are coming. They're gonna be getting David Montgomery back. There's a very small chance Aiden Hutchinson could be back. It's probably gonna cost them at least 3 or 4 more players, but fuck it. Dan Campbell's gonna be ultra aggressive just to be safe. You thought he went for it on 4th down a lot before? You ain't seen nothing yet. With how porous that 4th string defense can be, it's a guarantee. This season has taken us from football heaven to the depths of unwatchable hell. When there's money to be made, the product does not matter. Yet the playoffs are a different beast. In the end, there can be only 2 contenders dueling for the ultimate prize. I'm not even gonna try to be optimistic it's gonna be Chiefs versus Eagles. The matchup no one outside those cities want because the football gods desire salt. They're shitposters at heart. Very predictable ones, but I respect the dedication. We all hope for something different, but we said that last year. Look what happened. Regardless, good luck to all teams involved. You're probably gonna need it. Welcome to the rest of the NFL, Lions fans. It's been a while since you've mingled with the rest of us. Horrifying playoff failure is just part and parcel of life for real teams. And this outcome was sadly predictable for weeks. So that's the downside of having a defense wrecked beyond repair. Jaden Daniels made these fools look like the patchwork group of insurance salesmen that they are. And when the Lions needed their offense at full power, Jared Goff returned at the worst possible time. Killer turnovers at every turn, especially before halftime. Then Ben Johnson got way too fucking cute and got burned by it repeatedly. The greatest season in decades for the Lions, and they end up with as many playoff wins as the Bears. Dan Campbell fell on at least 10 swords after this game. Add a few more for losing Ben Johnson and probably Aaron Glenn in the coaching cycle. Turns out they are going to see Minnesota in 2 weeks. It'll just be in Cabo.